Hi and welcome. Now sometimes we need to align things easily and accurately on our document. Now we can drag it with the mouse and guess it, and it will probably be pretty close. But what if they have to be bang on? Well, then we need guides and guide layouts to do that for us. Now I hope you find this video useful. If you do, please share it with your friends, or give me a thumbs up on YouTube, or leave me a comment under the video. If you pass in on Facebook, say hi and give me page a like. Would be much appreciated. Okay, well let's dig in. My name's Ken Fisher and this is LiveLink Training. Now in this video we're going to be looking at grids, guides and guide layouts to help us align objects easily and, more importantly, precisely. Now don't forget, if you're a fan of the printed page, there is a free ebook to accompany the video. Just click on the link in the More section under the video to download it. Okay, let's get on. Okay, what are we going to learn in this video? Number one, we're going to use a grid to align an object. Number two, we're going to add and remove guides. Number three, we're going to create a new guide layout. And number four, we're going to align images using guides and snap. Okay, lots to do. Let's get on. Sometimes you really need all your content to be aligned correctly to give it that slick, professional look. Now, Photoshop has a number of great features to help you keep your work organised, aligned and laid out in a consistent way. Now, one of these is grids. Now, to enable the grids, we need something to enable it on. So let's first open up a new document. Doesn't matter what size, we'll say new. And let's go to print and we'll open an A4. I'll make sure it's, let's say, landscape, and I'll leave everything else to default. And there we go. So we've got a nice landscape blank piece of paper now to work with. Now if I want to add grids, what I can do is I can go up to the view menu and choose show and activate grid. And that'll put me a grid of lines overlaid on my document. And they're all at regular intervals. Now you'll see here that there's dark lines and there's light lines. Now I'll talk about them in a minute. Let's just make sure that those rulers are doing what we want them to do. So here we've got the rulers on the top and on the left. Now if they're not there, then basically we need to go to view and rulers, or use Control and R to switch them on. You'll see if I switch them off, then off they go, but if I do Control and R, it brings them back again. Now I'd like to change these units to something different, so I'm just going to go up into either of the rulers and right click, and I'll select, say, inches. So now I'm measuring in actual inches units. Now you can set the properties of this grid in preferences. Now a quick and dirty way to get to your preferences here is just to double click inside the ruler. And that brings me up my preferences dialog, all set up to units and rulers. But the one I want is guides, grid and slices. So if I click on that one, you can see that in the middle here we've got the grid, and we can set a different colour. We can make it a different line type, and we can say we want a grid line every whatever and some subdivisions. So let's say I want a grid line every 1, and I'll change this to inch, and I'll leave it there set to 4 subdivisions. Oops, I'll just change that back to 1 inch. There we go. So we've now got grid lines every 1 inch, and there's 4 subdivisions. And you can see in the background here now that it matches up. These are inches, and I've got 4 subdivisions. So each one of these is like a 1/4 of an inch. And I'll click OK. Now the reason that grids are helpful is that you can snap to them. Now this means that any objects you make will snap to or be attracted to the grids, like a little magnet. So let's try that out. Let's go and we'll pick my rectangle tool, and I make sure that my fill is black. I'm on shape and I've not got a stroke, and then I'll just click and drag to mark out a shape. I now press V because I want the move tool, and now I can move this around, but you can see there's nothing happening. I'm taking it close to things, but there's nothing happening. So what I need to do is activate snap. So to do this, I'm going to go up to the view menu and down to snap, or more specifically snap to. And I'm going to say snap to the grid. And now when I go in here and try and move this, you'll see how it's jumping, because what it's doing, it's like magnetizing itself to any of the grid options. So I can align this up with something else over here really precisely, because it's like magnetized and it's like sticking to those minor and major grids. And that is perfect. That helps a lot in aligning things up. Now this is a great way to make very regular, very specific size shapes. But more than that, this kind of grid has its limited usefulness. So let's turn off the grid view, and I'm going to go up to view and down to show, and I'll turn off the grid. Or you can do it with a nice little keyboard shortcut of Control and semicolon, or Command and semicolon if you're on a Mac. Now let's look at another option. Let's look at guides. Now guides are another way of keeping things aligned. Now if you mouse into either of the rulers and click and drag down, you'll drag out a guide. So let's click and drag one out from the top. So that's a horizontal guide, and it's this coloured line here. And I'll go into the left hand side and I'll drag another guide out. Now I won't activate snap again, but this time for my guides. So I'm going to go up to the view menu and I'm going to go down to snap to, but this time I'm going to say snap to the guides. And now what will happen is it will actually, as I take it close to that corner, it'll magnetize itself to that guide position wherever it is. Now as before, the colour and nature of the guides can be customized in the guide, grid and slices section of the preferences. So I'll just have a quick look at that. Just double click in any of the rulers and then grid, guides and slices, and here you can see we've got guides, and we can change its colour and we can change the line type. Okay, I'll just click cancel on that. Now if you need to move a guide that you've set down, like say this one here, if you've got the move tool active, which at the moment we have, all you've got to do is hover over the guide until you get that little doohickey there, that 2 lines and 2 arrows, and you can click and drag and drop. If you've not got the move tool active, let's say we've got another tool active, then you can hold the control key down or the command key on the Mac and hover and click and drag. If you want to remove a guide, I'll just drag another one out to show you. If you want to remove a guide, then you just hover over it, click, and you drag it, and you just drag it back into the ruler, and there it is, gone. Now if you're all happy with where your guides are and you don't want to accidentally drag and move them, then you can lock them. And you can do this by going up to the view menu and down to lock guides, and then nothing I do will actually move those guides. If I want to unlock them, then I go back to the view menu and I untick lock guides, and then I can move them again. Now if you want to clear all the guides completely, I'm just going to go to the view menu and clear guides, and there they are, they're all gone. Now beyond simple grids and simple guides, there's another feature which can be really useful, and this is the new guide layout. Now this option is in the view menu under new guide layout. So view and new guide layout. And here we can define our own set of guides. So I can say I want to, let's say 4 columns, and we'll have 4 rows. And you can define a width and a height, and we can put a gutter, and the gutter is basically the piece in between. So if I have a guide, let's say a half, so now I've got a 1/2 inch gutter between each one, and if I wanted to I could put a margin at the sides. There we see we've got a little margin at each side and the top and the bottom, and then we can save that out if we want as a custom guide. Is that not cool? And then anything we've got in here will automatically snap to any of the guide areas that we've got. Okay, let's clear all the guides again. We'll go to view and clear guides, and there they are gone. Okay, let's have a look at a bit of a practical example of using guides. Now to do that, I've got another image that I want to show you. there it is. And in this image I've got 6 square little images, and these are all 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. These are all on different layers. I've got a black background with a stroke round to pick it out nice, and I've got some title text at the top which I'll put on at the end. But now I'd really like to line these up but have it done absolutely accurately. Now to do this I'm going to use a super feature called New Guide, which lets me put guides in specific and very accurate places. So I'm going to go to View and I'm going to go to New Guide. Now if we just have a look at this, what I'd like is, let's say at this side, this image is 3600 pixels wide. So you've got to do a little bit of maths, but it's not hard. Now what I'd like is at this side, say, I'd like it, let's say 200 pixels in is where I want the edge of my first image to go. So I'm going to choose a vertical New Guide. Ooh, I've still got my ruler set to inches. So okay, let's just go back and rectify that. I'll change that to pixels. You can see now that it's like 3600 pixels. So my first guide I want to put 200 pixels. Now I can drag it and I can get it fairly accurately. It's not bad, but I'm going to do it really precisely. So we're going to use the New Guide. So we're going to go to View and New Guide. And I want this to be vertical. And I want it to be 200 pixels. And I'm going to click OK. And that puts the guide down precisely at 200 pixels. Now I'd like another one at the top because I'd like to align the top as well. So, and we'll make this even. We'll make this 200 pixels from the top. So again, I'm going to go to View, New Guide. This time I want a horizontal one. And again, we'll put it at 200 pixels and click OK. And there we've got 2 guides. And we'll just make sure that Snap's on. We've got Snap to, and we've got guides. Yep, so we're OK. So I can now move, let's say my first image, and you see how it snaps into that. So I know that's precision aligned. OK, now my second image, well, I'd like that to be, let's say, 100 pixels in between. Okay, so where does that want to be? Well, I've got 1000 pixels for the image. I've got 200 pixels for the margin here, which is 1200, and I want 100. So the next guide for the second image wants to be at 1300 pixels. So let's try that. So we'll go to View, New Guide, and we want it to be a vertical one, but this time we want it at 1300 pixels and click OK. And now I can bring this one in, my second one, and I can line that really specifically now. Okay, let's keep going. So we've now want another line here, and again we want it at 100. So we've got 2 of these images at 1000 each, that's 2000. We've got 2200, 2300, and we want 100 here, so we want it at 2400. Here we go. View, New Guide, we want it vertically and we want it 2400 and click OK. And now I can drag one of my other images and align it exactly. Now coming down, I want to be able to align all these. So what I need is, I've got 200 pixels at the top, I've got 1000 pixels here, so that's 1200 pixels, and I want another 100. So again we want 1300 pixels, but this time it wants to be horizontal. So we'll go to View, New Guide, but this time we want horizontal, and we want it at 1300 pixels and click OK. And now I can align these absolutely with precision, knowing that they're all in exactly the right place. And just to finish it off now, I'll just put my title text on of Wartime Britain. And these are images that I shot at the Pickering Wartime Weekend last year, which was absolutely fantastic. If you get a chance to go and dress up, do it. Now if the guys themselves are getting in your face a little bit, then we can turn them off. And we can go to View and Show, and we can turn off the guides, or we can use the natty little keyboard shortcut of Control or Command and semicolon. I'll just click on that, and there they were gone. Well, that's it for this video. I do hope you liked it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up or leave a comment under the video. Or share it with a friend or two. Don't forget to check out the more area under the video for the link to any download files or free ebooks. And please click the subscribe button so when I upload a new video, you were the first to know. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.